Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome contestant number 1, Miss Samoa, New South Wales, onto the stage for her interview. Miss Samoa, New South Wales, can you please pick a question? Miss Samoa, New South Wales, your topic for your question is disability, nothing about us without us. And your question is, if you were crowned Miss Samoa, what advice would you suggest to governments to improve services for our disability community?
Thank you. My advice to the government to improve disability inclusivity is investing into more infrastructure, as well as access to education, to training that is equal to all our people, including our disability community. It is very important to acknowledge that our disability community are the same as our normal community, Samoan community. So investing more funding into making infrastructure more accessible and creating an inclusive society for all our community, especially those with disability. Thank
you, contestant. Thank you, contestant number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome back onto the stage your contestant number 2, Miss Samoa, Hawaii. Miss Samoa, Hawaii, the topic for your question is knowledge management. And your question is, what are some of your favorite aspects of the Samoan culture that you have learned as a Tamaitai Samoa? And how would you ensure that these are passed on to your own children in the future?
Some of the Samoan cultural aspects that I have learned and that I would pass on to my own children is fa'aloalo, and to also muamualeatua. Those aspects are very important to me and something that I would pass on to my children, because in the Samoa culture, we were built upon the foundation of Christianity. And with that being said, our culture is very unique and significant. So it's always important to, 1, respect your elders, respect who you are as a Tamaitai Samoa, and 2, to always remember that in all that you do, muamualeatua.
Thank you, contestant number 2. Pati Mola Suita Numeralua. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome back on stage your contestant number 3, Miss Lily number 1, for her interview. Lily number 1, please pick a question. Miss Lily number 1, the topic of your question is technology and digital growth. We hear about, this is your question, we hear about negative connotations of social media like cyberbullying. What advice would you give young people to promote and practice good digital etiquette when using social media platforms?
My advice would be to always use technology and social media productively and wisely, just because you don't know what the other person is going through when you bully someone. So yeah, thank you for the question.
Ms. Falealili number 1. for your contestant number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome onto the stage your contestant number 4, Miss Sausala America, for her interview. Please pick a question. Contestant number 4, your topic is diaspora and development. Your question is, why is diaspora communities important to Samoa's development?
Diaspora community is very important to the development of Samoa. Why is that? Our people that live overseas still love our culture, and the ways that they help, they exchange their knowledge and skills and experiences that they learn while living, in America, New Zealand, Australia, and others. Another ways that our diaspora community is helping to develop Samoa is sending money to our family to help with fa'alave-laves, to help with education of our young ones, and definitely help the economy of Samoa.
Thank you, contestant number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome onto the stage your contestant number 5, Ms. Jad Sore, for her interview. Ms. Jad Sore, please pick a question. Samoa, your topic is on quality education. Your question is, this is your question. You are meeting with members of Samoan government cabinet. What advice would you give them on how they, as the leaders, can improve the quality of education to better prepare women and girls as future leaders of Samoa?
Thank you for the question. If I was to meet with the cabinet ministers, what message would I give to them to make sure,
What advice would you give them on how they, as the leaders, can improve the quality of education to better prepare women and girls as future leaders of Samoa?
Thank you. I think the best advice to give the cabinet ministers is to make sure that the resources for education is well distributed in the schools, so that all people with disability, people who are from not so wealthy families can have access to resources so that they can study to become future leaders. Because o te maitai, e au leina I lau ole te maitai. Thank you so much.
Miss Pacific Mix. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome her on stage. I'll take that for you. Your question, Miss Pacific Mix, is on the topic, Alofa I lau Samoa matalasi. We are living in an era of rapid changes. What can we do as a community to actively protect and sustain the beauty of our home we call Samoa matalasi?
In this part, I think our traditions are very important, our nganu, where we have our Siva Samoa, our Ngangana Samoa. we have to pass it down to our children so that they will also grow up and teach it to their children, and then it will pass on, so that in order for our culture, our nganu, to keep alive. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Pacific Mix. Let's welcome Miss Leona Consultancy, contestant number 7. Ms. Leona, your question is on the topic labor and mobility and economic growth. You are meeting with the Prime Minister of Samoa right now. She is in the audience. What key strategies would you recommend to the Honourable Prime Minister for addressing some of the challenges emerging from Samoa's engagement in labor mobility programs?
As far as our labor mobility programs, I believe that everything at the end of the day does stem down to the root of education. Right now, although I'm here new to Samoa, I understand that 20% of our young children, 5 years and younger, are the only 20% that's enrolled in early childhood education. I believe that the best way to build a foundation is to start with our youth now. What is the point of trying to grow our community at an older age when we have to lay a strong foundation now? That's how we build a kingdom. That is how Samoa will thrive. We have a very young community, and as we get them to start at a very young age and express the paramount importance of that, then I believe that we'd be able to succeed and excel in our labor development starting from a young age. Faftai Telelava.
Malo faftai, Ms. Leona. Sawia tato suito valu na valu. Miss Samoa Victoria Incorporated. Your question on the topic community development and health. If you were crowned Miss Samoa, how would you influence young women in the community to make healthy choices and to adopt healthy lifestyles?
Thank you for the question. If I was blessed enough to win the title of the Miss Samoa, to empower our women, especially, I know there's programs that already exist advocating for fitness and wellness, but I would continue to do the work in partnership with communities and programs to push for simple daily changes, implementing a healthier diet, going on walks, just simple and achievable goals so that it's easier and easily implemented into the daily lifestyle of not just our women, but for all of Samoa. I think that it would benefit and create a healthier Samoa. Lava.
Miss Samoa Victoria Incorporated, ladies and gentlemen. And now, our contestant number 9, Miss Pacific Climate Warriors, ladies and gentlemen. Your question is on the topic equity for social development. Are there any programs that you have heard of in Samoa that helps with the development of our rural communities to demonstrate the famous saying, what is good for Upolu is also good for Savai?
I was very lucky last week to attend the district community planning session that was, it was launched by the Ministry of Women and Social Development. And there I was able to hear some of the programs that's been happening in the districts with the Aotalavo, inspiring them not just to think that success comes from academic riches, but that success can also come from our land, our ocean, that doing things in our villages is also success. You know, I think there's a misconception that only those who come first or top 5 in class will have a bright future. That's not true. Every single person in our village, every single person in Savai is valuable. They're a part of Samo Matalasi, and the work is already being done. So I commend all our districts. I commend all our youth. I see you, I hear you, and I thank you for being the development in Samoa.
Miss Pacific Climate Warriors, ladies and gentlemen. And now, your contestant number 10, Miss Impact Services. Your question, Miss Impact Services, is on youth creativity and innovation. Exploring opportunities given to youth, be innovative. What do you think is the best way to encourage a young person to be creative and innovative?
The youth of Samoa do not lack talent. The youth of Samoa do not lack ability. What they do lack at this time is a reminder of the value that they hold. In an age of microwave mentalities and instant culture fed by social media, our young people are in need of positive messaging. I believe that the youth of Samoa are innovators, are creators, are sports people, are scientists and mathematicians. And I want to take this moment to acknowledge the groundwork that's already been done to support our youth with awareness of opportunities, how to safely use social media, and also building the family unit. I believe what makes Samoa Matalasi are 3 core values: our cultural values, our spiritual values, but also our family values. And it's our role as leaders, as mentors, to support the family unit so that our youth can see that they are Matalasi, Faftain.
Taitele, Miss Impact Services. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back onto the stage for an interview your contestant number 11, Miss Samoa, Queensland Incorporated. Please pick a question. Samoa, Queensland Incorporated. Your topic is governance, peace, and security. Your question is, do you think our national laws are strong enough to protect the safety of our families and vulnerable individuals? And what can we do better as communities and as a government to ensure the safety and protection of our people?
Can you please repeat the question?
Sure, for sure. Do you think our national laws are strong enough to protect our families and vulnerable individuals? And the second part of the question is, what can we do better as communities and as a government to ensure the safety and protection of our people?
Yes, I do believe our lawsuits are connected within our communities, and the way we should better ourselves to continue with our community is what our sister Brianna Fruin once said, is to break the silence. And to break the silence, we start within our families to build trust, and with that we're able to build a foundation and a bond with our parents to also so our problems and the issues that we can't explain be swept under a mat.
Thank you, Ms. Samoa, Queensland Incorporated. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome onto the stage your contestant number 12, Ms. Samoa USA, for her interview. USA, your topic is women in sports and development. Your question goes something like this. A lot of attention goes to men's sports with very little attention on women's sports. What is your advice to the new Ministry of Sports to ensure that attention is also given to women's sports?
I believe that in order to give more attention to our women in sports is by advertising and marketing. That's where it begins, because we are amazing, right? As a retired athlete, we have so much to offer. It builds character, it builds leadership, and the way our Ministry of Sports, my advice to you would begin in advertising, marketing in our women, that we are powerful, we are the future, and that we can excel in sports, and it's not just the men.
Thank you, Ms. Samoa USA. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome onto the stage your contestant number 13, Ms. Hidden Threader, for her interview. Please pick a question. Ms. Hidden Threader, your topic is on sustainable tourism. Your question is preserving culture through tourism. What would your advice be to our people to ensure we do not lose our culture in our pursuit to promote tourism?
Ole whakamolongolo, or as my late apostle William says, anchor to the rock, yet to the time. Maintaining sustainable tourism, as we all know, tourism is the doorway for us, for the world to meet Samoa, and for us to welcome. For us to maintain sustainable tourism, to encourage our local communities to involve. The last thing a Ba'alangi that comes to visit Samoa wants to see is another Ba'alangi. No, he wants to come, see the local people developing with our hands, our own resorts, our own islands. May we make sure that the culture, may we make sure that no matter the changes, we still hold on to the foundation of our culture. And that is beautifying, showcasing the beauty of our culture. May it never lose, may it never fade. Faftai.
Faftai Tele, contestant number 13. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome back onto the stage for her interview, contestant number 14, Miss Samoa, New Zealand. Please pick a question. Zealand, your topic is climate change resilience. Your question is, as a youth leader, what are some initiatives you can do to advocate to the business and tourism industries to support the Samoa Cares campaign on protecting the environment and building climate resilience?
Beautiful. I, for one, am definitely not a climate change expert. It would be untruthful if I could state facts. But as a youth leader, a key word that stands for me is our youth. The moment they hear climate change is the moment they stop listening because they perhaps do not understand it on a deeper level to them. So a way that I would help as a youth leader to encourage the importance of climate change resilience would be to remind them of the va between them and the land, the va between them and the ocean, and reminding ourselves that as the economy grows, we are never owners of the land, we are guardians of the land. And when they understand that sacred relationship with their si'osi'omanga, with their anganu'u, with their atunu'u, perhaps, just maybe that will change have a change of heart for them to want to learn more, which is a step in the right direction. Whaftaitele lava.
Thank you, Miss Samoa New Zealand. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome back onto the stage your final contestant for their interview, Miss Lavash Catua, your contestant number 15. Miss Lavash Catua, please pick a question. Contestant number 15, the topic for your question is leadership development in Samoa. The question is, what inspires you as a young Tamaitai? Can you name a Samoan leader that inspires you the most and why?
Thank you for the question. The female leader that inspired me the most, it'll be Prime Minister, Honorable Fiamē Naomi Mata'afa. The reason why, firstly, she was a Matai at her 20 years old, at a very young age. Secondly, she was the first woman in parliament. And what I learned from her and that inspired me the most is I got inspired by, firstly, she has said about be respectful. Firstly, be respectful of your elders and your people. Secondly, you have to stand your ground as a woman. As we all know, this world is full of male dominance. So as a woman, we had to stand our ground as a Samoa, Tamaitai Samoa, and that inspired me the most. And today, she inspired me to be a leader in the future. Whaftai lava.
Thank you, contestant number 15. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have another round of applause for all our brave contestants for completing the final category for this competition.